Welcome back to Lewy Body and Mindful Caregiving. I'm Krystal Jakosky, your host. Thank you for coming back and being present with me today as I share my experience, my journey with you. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the dementia yo-yo that is, was, and continues to be. We always start with self-care. So what self-care did I do? I went on a girls' weekend and I went to the United States of America Jigsaw Puzzle Association's competition. It was a national competition in San Diego, California. And I went with my girlfriend from high school. We've been friends for 37 years now, and she likes to puzzle too. So we went and had a wonderful time on the weekend. I took 4 days, and my husband stayed at home and was just kind of here to manage the grounds and make sure that everything was okay with mom. So I took some girl time and I did a ton of jigsaw puzzles. And as you know, that is just one of my ways of meditating and letting the world go is to diving into that. So and side note, we had to buy an entire suitcase to bring all of our swag home because we got so many puzzles. So yeah. On to the dementia yo-yo. This is literally, whether you call it a yo-yo or you call it a roller coaster, whatever you want to call it, this is a challenge. The thing is that your loved one will be doing really good one moment and might be the same day, it might be the next day, it might be the next week, but they start just declining and things are really different and off. And you are trying to figure out what's going on and why they're not doing well. And you figure that out, and then they improve again. And then not too long later, they might come down again, or it might be months where they're doing really, really well. And then all of a sudden they tank again. This is a normal cycle with dementia, with aging. Want to stick with dementia. The thing with dementia is that they lose someone with dementia, Alzheimer's. Remember, it's an umbrella, so it's got all of them, the dementia, Parkinson's, um, Alzheimer's. There are a whole bunch of things that fall under the dementia umbrella. They lose their ability to think, cognitive impairment. They cannot process things logically. They really kind of struggle with the A to B to C aspect of life. My mom will say, "Yeah, I don't understand why my digestion has been so off." And I'll look at it and I'll say, "Oh, well, you've been eating dairy again, and you can't have dairy because it's upsetting." "Oh, that's not dairy, that's gluten-free, so it's okay for me to eat." Gluten-free is different from dairy-free. This is actually regular ice cream, and it's going to cause some digestive upset. Um, and that's just one of the many examples. She doesn't know. They don't know. They can't process. They can't figure it out. My mom is not good with money. She's like, I need a new pair of shoes. My mom doesn't go anywhere. She doesn't walk anywhere. She doesn't, I mean, she's pretty homebound, but she needs a new pair of shoes. So she buys 5 different pairs of shoes from Amazon to try to find one that she likes, but she doesn't like any of them. So she might give one or two away and then return the other two. And so like she's spending money, and it's like, how do you get her to not do that? And that's a completely different realm and story, but it illustrates the fact that she can't think through all of the steps. She doesn't know. There are a myriad of reasons that your loved one can crash. Often they say the first thing that you have to do is do a blood test, because it's entirely possible that they have a urinary tract infection or a bladder infection or some other infection that is causing them to decline. That may sound weird, but it's absolutely true. When they have an infection, what happens is they start to be more forgetful. Um, the symptoms of dementia, the lack of clarity, are increased when they have an infection. This is just the natural process of things. Yeast infection, anything. And it's not just women that can get these infections, men get them too. And so if your loved one is declining, get a blood test and find out, because it's not that common for them to decline that fast overnight in a couple days. They might do this kind of thing where they improve and decline and improve and decline in small increments from day 1 to day 2, and that can be affected by how did they sleep? What did they eat the day before? The minor fluctuations in their abilities is kind of normal. It's normal to be a little bit confused one day and a little bit clearer the next day, a little bit forgetful one day and a little bit more able to remember things the next day. The little fluctuations are normal. The bigger ones that have you go, holy crap, she's really declined in the last 2 days, are the ones check for infections. It's not just infections, though, because medications can do the same thing. Medications can cause a decline that seems more steady, and it's not overnight. For example, we put my mom was experiencing hip pain at night, only at night, not during the day. So we put her on a medication to try to block the nerve pain as well as a regular pain med at night. She was on this med for a month, the two meds, and we were steadily increasing the one, and it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't helping. So we changed her to a new med. She was on this new med at the same dosage as the previous med, basically. And she was on that for a month and she was okay. And we increased it. And um, she was declining a little bit, but she'd been on that med for so long that it was like, well, she's already been on it for a month and now she's starting to decline. It doesn't really make sense that it would be. I think she's just declining. And she was getting more and more sedentary and more withdrawn. And I did a podcast on this about a month ago and gave you a personal update on how that was going for me. It was very stressful and very upsetting. But then we changed doctors and we did a blood test, and this new doctor said, I don't think she should be on this particular medication. And it was one for depression. She'd been on this medication for a year and a half, not a big deal. And the doctor said, yeah, I think that this medication is causing some problems with her blood cells, with her white blood cells and her red blood cells and her heart. So let's get her off of that. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. She's been on it for so long. I don't I don't see a problem. And by the way, can we maybe check this other one? So we took her off of both of these medications. Today in April, my mom is now actually better than she was at Christmas time. At Christmas time, she was bloated, retaining fluids, could barely get off the couch. Walking 20 feet was a little exhausting for her. She was more and more sedentary. She was just declining. And come late January, when I met with my siblings, I told them if she continues in this manner, I don't think we'll have her by the middle of this year, by the end of this year, because she is declining so quickly. And I was supposed to take her to a family meeting where she could see her siblings. And that was late February. And I said, I don't know that I'm going to be able to take her to that because she's not good. I don't think she can travel. We took her off of these two meds. We made it to that family luncheon in the end of February. She bounced back that much because of her meds. The medications were what was causing the decline. And that's the crazy thing, because with dementia, you put them on medications. They do not cure dementia. They do not cure dementia, but they do attend to the symptoms that they are dealing with. So they will deal with the dizziness. They will deal with the hallucinations. They will help with the forgetfulness or the clarity of mind. It can help with all of these things. The thing is that while they're on that medication, behind the scenes, the disease is still progressing. They are still declining. So the medication is helping it appear that they are okay, but behind the scenes, it is still going on. They are still declining, which means you have to adjust the medications. You have to pay attention to that. So you are constantly working with, what do we need to shift? What do we need to do? If you didn't embrace the medication, then it would just be more obvious. And the hallucinations would be a little more disturbing and upsetting because they're more prevalent. The medications can minimize that and make it easier, make it better for them. The quality of life is improved because they're not seeing what they're not seeing anymore. The confusion can be extremely upsetting to them as well as to you. Medications can help that. The forgetfulness, when they can't remember, what's that green sign there that tells you what road we're on? You mean the street sign? Oh, that's what they're called? Yeah, they are. It's really upsetting for them and can be frustrating for you, but some medications can help a little bit with that in the beginning, until the disease progresses behind the scenes enough that you need to adjust it. And while you're adjusting all of these medications, it means you're also dealing with all of the side effects that they cause. And when you deal with those side effects, then you have another medication. And so the medications can feed into the Lewy body roller coaster as much as a urinary tract infection. It's frustrating because here I am, and I'm working with my mom in this experience, in her experience. My siblings all live out of state, which means that I update them and I say, hey, this isn't good. And everyone goes, oh, really? Yeah, she's on palliative care. And we're at the point where we're not treating anything because she just wants to be let go. And then a month later, it's, oh, she's really bounced back. She has really bounced back. And I'm really surprised at how much she's bounced back because we adjusted the medications. Okay. So, how long do we have before the next time that she tanks? My siblings are on just as much of a roller coaster as I am because I update them. And then I feel a little bad that they're on that roller coaster, but I'm on that roller coaster and I need their support. So I need to let them know where I'm at, where mom's at, and that this is the roller coaster we're dealing with. Give yourself some love and patience, understanding that there will be ups and downs, and it will be a constant up and down until the end, when they finally are released from this earthly body that they are living in, from the confines of this mind and this physical state of being. It will be an up and down. And oftentimes you'll have an up and then there'll be a down. And when they come back up, they're not going to go as high. They're not going to be as okay as they were before the decline, but they will come back a little bit. The challenge is in embracing the ride. And like I mentioned last week, embracing the ride while being a caregiver and a loved one. Where are you at? What needs are you meeting in that moment? And how can you love on them in a way that works for you, fills your needs, and takes care of you as well? Remember, it's not your loved one, it's the disease. They don't have a normal brain. So if you're treating them like they have a normal brain, stop it. They don't. They can't think. They can't process. They don't understand. They are losing themselves. And it is just as upsetting and frustrating for them as it is for you. Take care of yourself. Do whatever you need to do to be okay. If you need to take a break, take a break. If you need extra time and you want to go do a date day with your loved one and have some fun to be in the moment and be out of whatever, go for that too. It's all about being the best that you can be in this moment for them and for you so that you can move forward through this challenge. Have a great day, and I'll see you again next week here on Lewy Body and Mindful Caregiving.